Hi there, friends. Welcome to this class. This is going to be a flow to Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. I'm so excited because I say that about so many poses, that this is one of my favorite poses, but Ardha Chandrasana is really one of my favorite poses. So I'm super excited for this class. We're going to do a little bit of flowing on the mat. And I'm really going to break down kind of the steps to get to Ardha Chandrasana, and we'll work on the common transition that we usually use in a flow class to go into half moon. But for today, what I would recommend to do, if this is your first time trying half moon pose, have a chair or coffee table or something that's in front of you, in front of your mat. The first round that we take, we'll actually do it a little bit higher, up on a chair, so we can kind of work on the weight shift forward using that prop. Other things that I would recommend for this class would be a couple of blocks for sure, maybe a strap, and then if you like to use any sort of blanket or towel or anything underneath knees for padding, or under your seat in seated postures, grab that also. We're going to just use all the things today, adding some furniture to this flow. We'll go ahead and get started in a comfortable seated position, maybe sit up on a prop. I'm sitting on a block if that would feel good for you. And always remember, this is your body. This is your practice. If there's something that I do that does not feel right in your body, you don't have to do it. Back out, take a modification, take something else that you know would feel good for you. This is your class, so you do you. We'll get started here just on our seat. You can just place your hands down on top of your thighs, close down your eyes, really ground down through those sit bones, reach up through the crown of your head and get a super long spine. Start to take some deep breaths, maybe in and out through the nose. And allow yourself just to arrive here, in this moment on your mat. Our theme for this class is going to be finding the balance between sthira and sukha. You hear about that sometimes in yoga. It's that balance between effort and ease. And for the pose specifically that we're going to work on, it's also the balance between strength, flexibility. The balance between listening to your body and going too far. The balance of balancing, really grounding down into the earth at the same time that you are lifting up towards the sky. Just take a couple more breaths. And just allow yourself kind of that exploration here as we move on the mat to find that right spot, that right balance in the balancing posture between all of those things for you. Let's go ahead and gently open our eyes. If you're sitting up on a prop and you'd like to come off of it, you can remove that now and just come down into any comfortable seat. We'll inhale and sweep our arms up overhead. Take an exhale. On your next inhale, draw the elbows down towards your sides into like cactus or goalpost arms, and then really reach your chest forward. We'll take seated cat-cows here. On your exhale, draw your elbows towards one another, round the back, draw the belly in, tuck the chin. Inhale it back forward into your back bend, drawing those shoulder blades towards one another. Exhale, rounding the back into that seated cat. Just do a few more of these on your own breath. Inhaling forward. Exhale, draw it all in. Just do one more. And we'll arrive back at center, reach those arms back up overhead, palms can touch, take an inhale. On your exhale, twist towards the right. You can place right fingertips behind you, left fingertips on the outside of the right knee. Think long spine here. You maybe can gaze over that back shoulder. Inhale it back up through center, palms touch, and then exhale, twist over towards the left. That right hand can come to the outside of that left knee. Inhale it back up. Just go to each side one more time. Exhaling into the twist. Inhaling back up to center. Twisting to the left. Back up to center. And then you can just release those hands down through heart center. We'll roll. Actually, first let's do a forward fold. Let's take right leg out, left leg in. So this is like a wide-legged forward fold. It's called dragonfly in yin, but we have one leg bent in. So we'll just ground down through sit bones, keep the toes pointing up on that right leg that's out to the side, and just gently fold forward over that bent leg. It doesn't have to be too far. It's the beginning of our practice. See if you can kind of release there through the low back. Should be able to stretch probably down the inside of your right leg as well. We'll inhale, come back up, and just switch sides. So reach that left leg out, fold that right leg in, and then fold forward. Try to keep this left leg active and engaged. That's something in our half moon. The top leg, we want to make sure that we are engaging, not just lifting it up and letting it kind of flow up in the air. That's something we'll work on today. Inhale, come back up to center, cross those legs. Now we will roll over into a tabletop. So bring wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Get a neutral spine, and then we'll take some hip circles with that right leg. So just keep the knee bent, circle it around here. Doesn't matter which direction you go first, just do about 3 going that way, and then switch and go back the opposite way. Once you've done about 3 of those, just bring the knee back and start to take some fire hydrants, opening out to the right. Keep that knee bent about 90 degrees. Let's just do one more. And then we can bring that right knee down. Widen your knees, bring big toes to touch, and we'll press back here quickly into a gentle little child's pose. Forehead can come down to the mat. Maybe wiggle hips side to side. This is a pose you can always revisit during our practice if you need a break, if you need a pause. Child's pose is always here for you. Let's inhale it back up into tabletop, and we'll take that on the left side. So just start to take those hip circles, drawing a big circle there with the knee. Once you've done about 3 going one way, switch and go back the opposite. Bring that left knee back down. Take a few fire hydrants out to the side, lifting, really engaging this glute medius muscle that's on the outside of your hip. Last one here. Place that left knee down. Open up, quick little child's pose. Reaching your arms out in front, forehead can come down. We'll press back up into that tabletop, and we'll work some modified side planks here. So we'll keep the right hand down, right knee down. Start to shift your right shin out to the side as you place your left foot towards the back of the mat and open your left arm up. So we're balancing here on the right knee, right arm, and that left foot is down. And then this left arm can reach up. And then we'll roll back through tabletop and open it up to the left. So left knee comes down, shin comes out, right arm opens up. So we'll just roll back and forth here a few times from side to side into our modified side planks. To the left. Let's go to each side one more time. In your side plank, think about long side bodies, and then think about lifting those hips up. We're engaging obliques. And then also at the same time working to open the arm up towards the ceiling, open the chest to the side, stack shoulders. Come back to that tabletop. You can walk your hands about a hand's distance in front, curl your toes under, and we'll lift our hips up into downward facing dog. And just take any little wiggles here. Drop heels, you can walk out the legs. In your downward facing dog, really press down through the thumb and index knuckle. Push the mat away. Lift those sit bones high. Draw in the low belly. You can keep bent knees in your downward facing dog. Heels can stay lifted. Goal here is to have a long line from your hands all the way up through the sit bones. So if straightening the legs and lowering the heels is rounding your back, bend those knees and lift those heels. Inhale and lift that right leg up high. Bring your right knee in towards your nose, plant that right foot, and come down onto that back knee. We'll come into Anjaneyasana here. If having your knee down on the mat is too much pressure, roll your mat or slide a blanket underneath that knee for a little bit of extra support. Hands can come to blocks here, framing that front foot, and just allow your pelvis to come forward and descend down towards the mat. Just stay here for a couple of breaths. Sternum is lifting up, reaching forward. And then exhale, straighten that front leg, shift your hips back, come onto the right heel, point your right toes up towards the ceiling, take a half split. Fold forward over that front leg. You can keep your blocks with you and use them. We'll inhale it back forward into that Anjaneyasana. And hand can come either to a block or the mat, left hand by the right foot. Open this right arm up into a twist here in your Anjaneyasana. Keep squeezing this left glute muscle. And then we'll take a transition here back into that modified side plank that we just tried in tabletop. So we'll shift this left shin out as we swing the right leg back behind us and we land in our modified side plank. This time, let's see if you can engage this glute medius to help lift the right leg off of the floor and maybe take some little pulses up and down if that feels good for you. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Release that foot back down to the mat. Right hand comes back down. Right knee comes back. We're meeting in a tabletop. Inhale and lift this left arm up, and then exhale, thread it through for a thread the needle. Come onto that left shoulder. Right arm can reach out in front. If you need a block underneath your head, you can place that there. Sit bones are reaching high and wide behind you. One more breath. Bring your right hand in towards your face. Press that palm into the mat. Lift it back up. Open into thread the needle. Or open into open before thread the needle. Left hand comes back down, and then we'll curl those toes, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Take a breath here in your downward facing dog. Take an inhale, lift that left leg up, bring the left foot forward. We'll land in Anjaneyasana on the left side. Grab those blocks if you need them. Think about pelvis shifting forward and down. Squeeze the right glute. We're opening through the front of that right hip. Try to get shoulders down away from ears if you can. On your next exhale, shift your hips back, straighten that front leg, come into Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Fold forward over that leg. You're probably feeling a deep stretch going all the way up through the calf, hamstring. We'll inhale it back forward. You can keep the block under the right hand if you need it, or place right hand on the mat. Open that left arm up into your twist. And then transition into your modified side plank. So start to swing this right shin out as you sweep left foot towards the back of the mat. And then we'll try to lift that left leg. See if you can lift it off. Maybe take some pulses. 3, 2, 1. Release that left foot down. Left hand comes down. We roll back into our tabletop. Right arm will open up to the side and then thread through for a thread the needle. Left arm can reach out in front. Can have palm down or up on fingertips. Just breathe. Last one here. The left hand comes back towards the face. Open that right arm up. Place the right hand down, curl those toes, lift your hips back up, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Any little wiggles that would feel good here. Let's inhale and lift that right leg up. Bring your right knee in towards your nose, plant your right foot, and then we'll cartwheel all the way up into our warrior two. So we'll have the right heel lining up with the left inner arch. Right toes point forward, left toes point out to the side. Shoulders stack over hips, arms reach out in opposite directions. Take a breath here in your warrior two. Think energy reaching in opposite directions. Inhale and flip this front palm. Reach it up overhead as that back arm slides down the back leg into a reverse warrior. Come back into that warrior two. Right forearm to right thigh. Left arm reaches up overhead, extended side angle. Long line here going up the whole left side of your body, all the way from the outer edge of your left foot up through those left fingertips. Inhale it back up into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Straighten your front leg. Heel toe the back foot in slightly. Keep your arms reaching out in opposite directions. We'll come into triangle pose. If you know you like to have a prop underneath your hand, you can place your block there to the outside of your right ankle and have it ready. We'll reach that right arm forward as we hinge at that right hip. Place that right hand down on your shin, your block, the mat, as the left arm reaches up overhead. And we open our chest up towards the ceiling. This is our triangle pose. This is a common transition from triangle pose into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So we're going to try it here using whatever furniture we've placed, our chair, our table, anything that's just a little bit higher than our block. So first bring the left hand towards the left hip. Start to bend your right knee and shift your weight forward over this right leg. If you need to hop this back foot in slightly, you can. Place your right hand on your furniture or prop and then press down with your right hand, press down through your right leg, straighten your right leg. See if you can lift this left leg behind you. We're not even going to do anything with the left arm now. Just keep it on your hip. We're keeping this left hip open, the left foot flexed. And then we'll step it right back to where we came from. Keep the right knee bent, and we'll stay in Warrior 2. We'll try that again. Straighten the front leg. Heel toe that back leg in. Reach, reach, reach. We'll land in our triangle pose. Take a breath here. Left hand comes to left hip. Gaze forward. Gaze where you're going. Normally we'll be coming up here towards the front of the mat. So it helps to gaze forward, look at where you're going, start to bend the right knee, hop that back leg in if you need to, place the right hand on your furniture, launch forward, see if you can straighten the right leg while you open that left hip and straighten the left leg. Keep this left leg active and flexed. And then we'll come right back down towards our Warrior 2. Straighten this right leg. Turn your right toes to face the left side of your mat. I had to think about that for a second. Bring your blocks with you if you need them, and we'll take a wide-legged forward fold here. So toes point straight in front. Hands can be on hips. Take an inhale. On your exhale, hinge forward at the hips, and then release down either onto your blocks. You could put hands on the mat. See if you can let that upper back and neck and head just go. Take a few breaths here in your wide-legged forward fold. If you like to have a little bit of wiggle or dynamic movement, I sure do. You can start to kind of rock the legs side to side. Just take any little wiggles that would feel good. And then whenever you're ready, move your blocks out of the way. We'll walk our hands forward, turn your right toes forward, come onto the left toes. Just step that right foot back to meet the left in your downward facing dog. Take a breath, and we'll try that on the left side. So inhale and lift that left leg up overhead. Exhale, left knee towards nose. Plant that left foot. Cartwheel all the way up into Warrior 2. Left heel lines up with right inner arch. Reach your arms. Scoop that left hip underneath, and then check in with the left knee. Notice if it's starting to collapse in or reach out. See if you can get it to track towards that left ankle. Take a breath here. We'll flip that front palm, reverse your warrior. Stretch the left side of your body. And then exhale, left forearm comes to left thigh, right arm reaches up overhead, side angle. Really work to open that chest. You can press down through this left forearm to help open the chest up towards the ceiling. One more breath. Next, inhale, rise back up to Warrior 2. Straighten that front leg, heel toe the back foot in. Grab that prop if you need it next to the front foot. And we'll come into triangle pose. Reach your left arm forward, hinge at that hip, reach, reach, reach. And then left hand comes down to shin, block the mat as your right arm reaches up overhead. You work to get long side bodies. And we'll try our transition up to our prop. Right hand comes to right hip. Gaze forward where you're going. Start to bend this left leg. Maybe hop the right foot in slightly. Left hand comes to chair. And then we lift up, open the right leg. Flex the right foot. Take a breath. You might be wobbly, and that's all good. Find that balance between effort and ease. Come back to your warrior two. We'll take that one more time. Straighten the front leg. Hinge it forward. Land in your triangle pose. Take a breath here. Bring your right hand to right hip. Gaze where you're going. Bend that left leg. Plant the left hand. Rise up. We're opening our chest up towards the right. Opening that right hip up. Really flexing through that right foot. Keeping this leg very active and engaged, like when we were lifting in our modified side plank. And then we'll slowly lower it carefully back down towards your warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Turn your toes to face the right side of your mat. Grab blocks if you need them. Hinge at your hips. Take that forward fold. Just release. Maybe release now through your head. Shake it, yes. Shake it, no. Release through the neck. Take 2 more breaths. Think sit bones high and wide, just reaching up behind. We'll inhale, half lift here. Walk towards the front of your mat again. Turn those left toes to face the front. Spin onto the right toes. Take that left leg back to meet the right in your downward facing dog. Take an inhale, and then on your exhale, just tiptoe. You can have bent knees all the way to the front of your mat. Feet land hips distance apart. Grab opposite elbows. Keep the knees bent and just allow the chest to come forward towards the thighs as you rock side to side in a ragdoll. Release those hands. Roll all the way up to stand, 1 vertebrae at a time. Head comes up last. And then we will, if you liked that prop and you want to stay there and that felt good for you, keep it there and you can continue using that. If you want to take kind of the next step and use a block underneath your hand, go ahead and move your prop out of the way, because that's where your block is going to want to go. So we'll stand at the front of our mat here. You can have your block handy for when you need it. Just stand in mountain pose. Take a couple of deep breaths. Reach your arms out to sides, palms facing forward. Next inhale, let's lift this left leg up into stork. So ground down through the right foot. Lift this left leg up. Bend at the knee. And then we'll take our tree pose. So you open this left leg out to the side and then either plant your foot. You can have toes down on the mat, ankle resting on the inside of the left leg. You could come to your calf. You could use that hand and place it towards the inside of your thigh. Wherever your tree is, just take a breath here in your tree. Find a point to focus on. This is also finding that balance between Sthira and Sukha, between effort and ease. Grounding down, but also lifting up. And then we'll release this left foot, step back into our warrior two. Have that block handy because we're coming into our triangle pose again. From your warrior two, straighten your front leg. Walk the back leg in a little if you need to. Reach this right arm forward, hinging at the hip. Land in your triangle pose. Left arm comes up overhead. And this time we'll take left hand to left hip. Gaze where you're going, look down and forward. You'll hold on to your block if you're using it. If you're using the chair again, you know what to do. Reach forward for the chair. If you're using the block, you're going to take it with you. So we'll bend this right leg, start to shift your weight forward. You can always take hops with this back foot in, if that works for you. Move the block forward. It's going to come right underneath your shoulder. Press down into the block as you lift that leg behind you, and then open your chest up towards the side. Keep that foot flexed. Find somewhere to gaze. Maybe reach that left arm up overhead. You could keep that on your hip if it feels better. We're really working to open the chest up towards the side here. And gaze can be anywhere. Gazing down helps with balance. Gazing up, if you want to gaze up towards that left, I'm going to fall if I try it. I can never do it. If you gaze up towards that hand, it really challenges that balance. Whenever you're ready and you've had enough, go ahead and step that left foot back. We'll meet in goddess. So bring your knees out wide, feet out about 45 degrees, knees reach over those ankles, lower those hips down. Take a breath here in your goddess. Who thought goddess could feel like a little bit of a resting pose, right? And then we'll just take some easy side bends from side to side. Releasing. Let's do one more going this way. And then we'll just step this left foot forward to meet the right in a chair. So keep your knees bent, seat reaching back, belly drawing in, press down, rise all the way up to stand. Hands come down to heart center and release. Let's try that on the left side. So you can move your block over here to the left. Ground down through that left foot. Reach your right leg up into stork, open it out to the side. Take your tree pose, your Vrksasana. Find a point to focus on. Keep squeezing through both outer hips, both glute medius muscles here to help you stabilize and balance. If you have that right foot inside your thigh, really press thigh into foot, foot into thigh. And then you can release that foot, place it behind you, and we'll land in Warrior Two on the left. Check in with the shoulders, stack them over the hips, relax the shoulders down. Straighten your front leg, heel toe that back foot in. Reach, reach, reach with that left arm. Land it on your block, your shin, the mat, as your right arm reaches up overhead. If you think about your upper body here, this is half moon. We've got shoulders stacked, chest opening. You can bring your right hand to your right hip, gaze where you're going, and then left hand either comes to the chair if you're still using it, or swing your block forward, place it underneath where your hand will go. Lift that right leg behind you. Maybe work to open the right arm, open the chest, keep that foot flexed. And then release. Right leg comes back down. Land in your goddess. I'll turn to face you. And in your goddess, take horseshoe hands right there above your knee. And just take some little shoulder twists. Release. Side to side. One shoulder drops in, then the other. And then you'll step your right foot forward to meet your left at the front of your mat in your chair pose. And then rise all the way up to stand and release. So we flowed, we made it, we did our Ardha Chandrasana. I thought I would show a couple of modifications if you want to practice half moon using the wall. The wall is always our BFF. In balancing poses and versions, like we call it Paul the Wall. Use Paul the Wall. So for balancing for half moon, you can really use the wall to lean against you to help you get that feeling of opening your chest and even practicing lifting your gaze. So you can take your block up against the wall. So this would be using your right side. You've got your right foot down, right hand comes to the block, and then you'll open it up, lifting that left leg behind you, and we're working to get that left heel back towards the wall. So we kind of get the idea of where everything should be proprioceptively here in our space around our body. So that left hand can reach up, and you'll work to kind of open that chest and get the shoulder blades back on the wall. This gives you something that's feedback. You're not going to fall. If you're going to fall, you're going to fall forward and catch yourself. This is a great place to practice. Keep that leg active. And then you can come back down. So you could try that against the wall. One other thing I'll show that can kind of help as a reminder to keep that back leg super active is to go against a wall and do it, but do it in a corner if you have one. So you would do the same thing, hand on block or the floor, and you'll actually press that back leg into the wall where the foot is flexing. And that gives you an idea when you're pushing that foot into the wall of just how active everything needs to be on that leg. So just a couple of ideas there to use the wall, use Paul as your friend. So, time to cool down. We'll come down onto our seat, however you need to get there. And then we'll take a Paschimottanasana. So if you like to have a blanket underneath sit bones, you can grab that now. If you like to use a strap around your feet, just reach your feet out in front of you, toes point up towards the ceiling. If you're using that strap, you can hook it there around the soles of your feet. If not, inhale those arms up overhead. Either way, exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward over your legs. Think reach your sternum like all the way up and over your feet. Press out through those heels if you're using the strap. And just take a couple of breaths. You can release the neck and the head. Draw that belly in. Press the thighs into the floor to kind of help you compress and fold a little bit farther forward. You can always take this with bent knees if that would feel better. Roll a blanket underneath your knees. And then we'll realign. Just walk the fingertips back towards the hips. Align the spine one vertebrae at a time. Head comes up last. Let's bend the right knee in. Come onto the sole of the foot. Reach your right arm up overhead. On your exhale, twist to the right. Right fingertips come behind you. Left arm hugs that right knee in. Marichyasana. Keep this left leg active. Inhale, bring it back to center and switch sides. Right leg reaches long. Left leg bends. Reach that left arm up overhead. Exhale, twist towards the left, hugging that left knee in with the right arm. Just take one breath here. Inhale, bring it back to center. We'll slowly come down onto our back so you can scoot your seat towards the middle of your mat. Just lower it all down, one vertebrae at a time. Hug those knees in, maybe roll them around. Feeling a little massage there on your low back. And then place that left sole of the foot down, cross the right ankle over, flex that right foot. Think about pushing that right knee out and away. If you're feeling enough here, stay here. This is our reclined pigeon or reclined figure 4. If this is good for you, stay here. If you want a little bit more, start to hug that left leg in towards the chest, grabbing either behind the thigh or the front of the shin. And then continue that feeling of that knee kind of going out and away from your body to get the stretch through the outer hip. Maybe roll out that left ankle. Can release that left foot down, release the right foot, and switch sides. Left ankle crosses over above the right knee. Flex that left foot. Press that knee out and away. Hug it in if that works for you. Just breathe. Add those ankle rolls. Release that right foot down. Place both soles of your feet down on the mat. Keep bent knees. Press up through the soles of your feet and kind of move your hips to the left slightly. And then let's take our knees over to the right into a spinal twist. Kind of hiking those hips one way before our twist can help us work to get those stacked hips in our twist. Left arm can come up overhead and open out to the side. You can have T-arms, goalpost. Just breathe here. In our practice, we have those times of effort and ease, and now is a time for ease. Just allow things to release, to absorb. Inhale it back up to center. Place the soles of your feet down. Walk the hips towards the right. Knees go to the left. You can take that left arm up overhead and open it out to the side, working to get that right shoulder blade down towards the mat. Take one final breath here in your twist. Inhale, bring it back up to center. Realign your hips and then just reach your feet down towards opposite corners of the mat. Watch out for any props that might be in your way. Allow your feet to just splay open naturally. Arms can reach out to the sides, palms facing up. Lift your chest, tuck your shoulder blades underneath. Close down your eyes. Tuck your chin slightly, get a little bit more length in the back of your neck. And just release here in your Shavasana. Do a quick scan of your body and notice any areas that might still be holding on to tension, perhaps in the feet or the thighs or the hips. Relax your belly. Notice if you're still shrugging shoulders, see if you can relax those. Relax your jaw, relax your face. If you want to stay here in your Shavasana, I invite you to do so. If you need to come up, you can start to wiggle fingers and toes. You can reach your arms and your feet in opposite directions into a nice stretch. Hug those knees in. Give them one last squeeze before you roll onto your right side. Pausing here in the fetal position. Use your hands to press up carefully into any comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed. Bring your hands to meet in front of your heart center in Anjali Mudra. Today's class was focused on learning the balance between effort and ease, between strength and flexibility, between holding on and letting go in our balancing pose, Ardha Chandrasana. I hope some of these concepts will resonate with you just throughout your day and your life. Life is all about a balance. Thank you so much for joining me for this class. Thank you all.